Okay,
Man,
so
crazy.
we are actually back. I'm sorry for the little bit of downtime there. I do not know what happened, but that unfortunately cut Emily off of her story, but now she gets to resume. So if you want to go ahead.
Sure. Um, so I officially made a decision, and ironically, it's getting to the point. I posted my first interview on March 26, 2014. So it's almost been a year since I actually first started. But I had chose CD Junior, and it's funny that I did because that was before he won Evo, and he kind of became what he is now. And he just seemed like someone that was so underrated and deserved so much more credit than he was actually getting. And I watched Twitter, I watched the way other players and people were reacting to him, and I didn't think it was right, because here I saw someone that was so passionate, and I decided, okay, they need, like you had said, Katie, they didn't, really have a voice, and I wanted to bring out not just, how they were being perceived in the community. I wanted to bring out the person inside the player, so that you really got to know them, where their background came from, and how they really felt about, video games, and what really inspired them to want to be a part of it. And I felt that was really important. So when I posted the interview and I started advertising it, and Twitter and various places, it blew up. I had a lot of people really into it. I said, okay, this is where I need to focus on, and I'm really passionate about it. So why am I not focusing on that? So originally my business name was not Jamilian. It was something completely different, and I had just decided I was just going to do interviews, and I started picking. I found another player on YouTube, if people have heard of him, Engravings, and he's a Vega player. Katie's smiling because I think
I know him.
and I did an interview with him. I had gotten one with Anomaly Arcade Sticks. I don't know if anyone has heard of them. And it really wasn't until I had a sponsor contact me, Macro Micro Gaming, asking me to do interviews for their players, that I really started considering making it serious. It just kind of became a part of my life, and now I go to work all day, I come home, and it's FGC. And so I had decided to do an interview with Apology Man, and then I had other gaming companies and sponsors start to contact me, and I started regrouping. I came up with my name, Jamilian. I fixed up my website, and I started wanting to do more for the community. And it was more, I had met a TO, or Obili. Everyone knows that is KIT. And it was after Summer Jam 8. I competed, and I somehow managed, that was the first time I did video interviews. I wanted to upgrade, but I could really only do them at tournaments. So I managed to get a lot of really great people. It was really surprising to me. I had people coming up to me that I didn't even know, that apparently knew who I was via social media, and they were introducing themselves, and it was completely different from my Summer Jam 7 experience. One, also because I competed, and I did not go 0-2. I went 1-2, so that made me feel happy.
Cool.
But I got an interview then with Sonic Fox, Grief, CD Junior in person, K-Brad, Perfect Legend, Cloud 805, and Flux. And it was, at one point I looked up and they were at my door. Like, I don't know, people were just kind of wrangling them up and putting them there. It's like, they want an interview too. I'm like, oh, okay. The more the merrier. Let's just get you all in here and let's go. But after that, I had more TOs and sponsors and things contacting me, and I started working on upgrading, and they started encouraging me to try to run my own tournament. And I started seeing that there were all these kind of posted things going on in California and on the West Coast that weren't really happening on the East Coast. But once I finally found the Philly players. It was kind of, I didn't know where they were for a period of time, and I kind of had to search the depths of Shoryuken, and I found a post about something called the Temple Tournaments, and I contacted the person on there, and I ended up going that Friday, and I started kind of trying to get to know the fighting game, people that aren't really advertised very much. You don't really know them, but believe me, I have gotten to know the Philly FGC, and they are probably some of the most dedicated players I have ever seen. Like, they care so much about the game, but you don't ever hear about them on Shoryuken or Ben Hobbs or anywhere else, and I feel that they deserve a voice too. Everybody deserves that chance. So in the process of all of that, I got encouraged to start running my own tournaments, and so I did. On February 7th, I hosted my first tournament called Berserk. I actually had around 70 people surprisingly come out to the event, which really surprised me because I wasn't expecting it. I had a little mishaps. The venue kind of didn't tell me that they had bad internet, and by bad internet, I mean it was dial-up DSL, so I don't think anyone really uses that anymore. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to stream, but Combat Network was really kind enough to local record everything with commentary, so I was able to upload a lot of those videos to my YouTube for people to see, and I am currently planning my next tournament. And the reason I did that is because I feel that this community needs more gaming sessions and events and tournaments, and I kind of wanted to bring that to the scene. I actually had a lot of people messaging me from the King of Prussia area in Pennsylvania, which is where I had it originally, thanking me, stating that they just don't have this stuff in this area, and it was really nice to have an event to go to, and they appreciated that I was going out of my way to plan it.
Nice.
So it's kind of crazy. I don't really know how to necessarily explain how it is I got here, but I can tell you that I've worked very hard, and I'm very excited. I have a lot of things planned. I just recently announced that I am planning my next tournament. It's going to be larger, and I am moving into Philadelphia, and I'm going to have that venue finalized soon. As well as I started almost like a player spotlight type of thing. Starting next month, I'm going to start kind of watching the community, see what's going on the East Coast, what players, how they're doing, go to more events. And I'm going to pick one player a month as a player spotlight interview. And do a special on them monthly. I have a lot of other things planned. I don't really want to say them yet because they're kind of surprises to the community, but I'm really excited, and I can tell people that my main goal is to really help level up the FGC on the East Coast, to give them more opportunities to grow, and for the community almost to become one. Like, I really like the West Coast and the East Coast and everybody to be able to join together, and for us to become this one big
community.
One big happy family.
What did you call it?
Community.
Yeah, essentially, which we kind of already are, but I kind of almost want to like unify us. I'm seeing the East Coast, they're starting to do a lot of like bigger and great things, and I want to keep encouraging that, and I want to keep bringing out these players and showcasing them and showing who they really are. And I think that it's really going to help with, the community grow.
Great. Well, it sounds like it's a good thing.
Yeah,
Definitely steps in the right direction.
Definitely, Emily's a shining example on how an FGC success story is made. It started from the bottom. Now look at it. Look at her now.
Yeah.
It takes like it does take a lot of work and a lot of dedication. I have had some people approach me and they said, I want to do what you're doing. How do I do that? And what's your best advice? And, one of my things that I always tell them is you can't give up. I mean, there were moments that it was so frustrating for me, but you really had to keep a level head and keep persevering forward. If you're passionate about it, then you shouldn't give up. You should keep trying no matter what and give it your 150%.
150, not 110. We're not stopping at 110. It's the whole 11 yards basically with her.
Is. It's the 150 plus the hop kick.
All right, man. We can't be talking frame data on my channel. I'm kidding.
That's good stuff. Awesome.
Well, definitely looking forward to your next projects and your next events, Miss Emily. I'm looking at the chat here, and the people love you. Like, so definitely can't wait to see what you have planned, especially with giving all of these newer fighting game players a chance with your spotlights, and also bringing together the rather separated East Coast community with your events, aka Berserk. So, which leads to, you be a final round?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
me? Who am I talking to?
I wish. I really, really want to, Curtis was yelling at me over the weekend at an event we were both at, telling me that I had to make it happen. I have a lot of people asking me, but unfortunately, I don't have the money right now to make it down to Georgia. However, a lot of people that do keep up with my social media will know that I did actually find a new job, and I recently just put in my 2 weeks, and Friday is my last day. And this big career change that I have going on is going to allow more time for me to dedicate to the FGC, and it was a pay raise. So I am working on, leveling up my equipment and my business and attending more events in the future. So hopefully I will be at more majors after a few months from now, but I can't make it to final round.
Oh, that's so sad. Look, I can't make.
I know. I'm really sad about it.
Almost having me in tears. Oh my lord.
Definitely make it next year. Definitely go next year, yeah.
I think I could speak for about 90% of people when they say that Final Round is definitely one of the cannot miss events of the fighting game event circuit. So
that and Evo.
That Evo, I mean, honorable mentions to, CEO.
CEO's
UFGT,
really good.
now known as Combo Breaker, the spiritual successor. So, definitely among those ranks as the you cannot miss events.
Well, I might not be at final round, but I can promise people that I will be more active and showing up to more events on the East Coast in the future. And I am looking to try to get up to next level at some point in the next couple months in New York.
Nice.
And trying to visit that area as well. So
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, speaking of major events that happened around here, we had the South by Southwest tournament that just was this past weekend, right? A couple days ago, right?
Yeah, just yesterday.
Yeah, and we have people here that actually attended the event, and they're going to be sharing their experiences about how everything went, and that's basically. I want to hear about how different it is from the a sort of a FGC grassroots quote unquote event. You know what I'm saying? So. We have Mr. Adil and Mr. Akbar here. Adil now known as Forwood of Display Lag. So how are you guys doing, man?
Yeah, we're doing good. Just kind of tired. We've been pretty much up and about the last 3 days, just playing and just having fun with all the players. It was a blast. It was amazing. So the event started on Friday. It was actually a round-robin format, so the way the tournament worked was that they invited 16 of some of the world's best players out.
Yep.
And for those of you that don't know, the players were basically the entire Evil Geniuses team, which was Justin Wong, Momochi, Ricky Ortiz, K. Brad, and PR Balrog. And then you had some of the international champions such as Cien, Daigo, Takedo, Kazunoko, as well as some other players that are also from the US, like Snake Eyes, Knuckle Dew, and some other international players too, as well, such as Ryan Hart. And also Sanford was there too, representing the US. So it was a pretty stacked tournament. Lots of things, lots of high-level caliber players there. And what really made it interesting was the fact that you never really see many events where a whole bunch of high-level players go without all of the other players in between. So it was a very focused event. They had they had the event basically played on a big stage in a head-to-head setup. So it was two monitors, splitting the signal, and they also had a back room area where the competitors could practice between matches if they wanted to with curtains.
Oh, is that nice?
So that, yeah, it was pretty crazy. So basically, anyone could the competitors and whoever was mainly the competitors could play whenever they wanted. Even during their downtime, so they were staying sharp and practicing things in training mode. So yeah, it was really interesting.
I was kind of surprised when they had the camera shots onto the audience. It made it look like the seating area was actually kind of small. It looked like it was in some sort of like I don't want to call it an amphitheater, but it looked like a gaming convention building. They had an area crossed off just for that, and there were folding chairs, and it was kind of like, it was kind of like a little bit of a smaller kind of,
That's exactly what it was. It was inside of their gaming expo, which had a bunch of vendors and other things going on related to gaming that wasn't just the tournament itself. So it was the area of the hall that was sectioned off for that specific tournament. They probably had maybe like 100 or 200 seats available. So it wasn't a whole lot of seating, but everyone that wanted to watch it was there. And when the event was going into full gear, then pretty much all of the seats were filled up and everyone was excited to watch it. So yeah. But yeah, it was really interesting because, there are a lot of people out there that think that, when you have players like Daigo and Momochi and Takedo come out to events, it's usually really hard to just kind of interact with them, mainly because, there is a language barrier and then there is everyone that's trying to talk to them and stuff. But due to the really focused nature of this event, like they were just playing and kind of hanging out just like all of us do at the events with each other. So it was interesting. I mean, they kind of kept to themselves too. They were very, very determined. They were very focused on trying to win. Like even between matches, all you saw were Daigo in the back practicing combos and links on his next match. Like basically whoever his next match was, he was just practicing on those characters and practicing with Takedo and the other Japanese players.
Well, I thought it was great that the interpreter was Ryan Harvey.
Yeah.
I was like, that is awesome,
Yeah, that was going to be a given. I was like, okay, well, you have all these Japanese players coming, and Ryan is in the backyard, so he's definitely going to be doing all the translations. So yeah, he was spot on. He did an excellent job with everything.
But who would have thought that they would even have a separate room just for practicing and stuff? And I had heard that, I don't know how true any of this is, but in the evening when everyone went out to try to get something to eat afterwards, they kind of just wanted to stay behind and keep practicing and immediately go to sleep, or
the schedule
stay focused, I guess.
Right. The schedule kind of went like this. So everyone pretty much had to be out by 6 because the shuttles were going from the venue back to the hotels.
Did you say out by 6?
Yeah.
Oh,
pretty much.
God.
So
I was wondering why everything was like ending so early. That's pretty early, yeah.
Actually, that was still like an hour after everything ended. So we were really every day we were pretty much finishing at like 5.
Oh my God.
From 12 to 5 was pretty much all the matches. Everything ran on time. There were no issues, no delays, nothing. Everything was just really smoothly run.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just we had all the competitors were provided lunches. They were provided, various desserts and stuff. So you didn't have to worry about even getting food. It was all provided to you every single day.
That's nice.
So that kind of kept everything really focused and no one was, lacking anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So, and yeah, as you know, Hamad was one of the competitors that was invited to this tournament, which honestly was a huge honor for him because he's still an up and coming player, but his accomplishments in such a short amount of time far exceed what a lot of people expect from players nowadays.
Yeah,
So I
let's talk about the origins of Hamad here a little bit, because I had heard you started taking gaming seriously, like competitively seriously, early 2012, like around Street Fighter Cross Tekken time. So that means that you went from being a newer Fei Long player to being an excellent Fei Long player in a matter of what, like 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a myth actually, but yeah, no, but yeah, it took me around 2.5 to 3 years
Yeah,
to kind of rev up. But I think if you practice hard enough and you believe, then anything's possible.
good stuff. So, I mean, now how did you come about doing this? Was it through going on YouTube, looking up all the different videos? Was it going to the training room and, putting the dummy on different situations and trying to, overcome all of that, memorizing all the frame data? Like, how did you do all that so quickly even?
I think starting from about 2.5 to 3 years, it's mostly 2.5 years ago actually. Uh, I was very focused with what I wanted to do, so I had a goal in mind. I used to watch Justin Wong, and for me, I used to be very entertained by the fact that how good he was, and for me, it was something I always wanted to do, on a professional scale.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I moved from Kuwait to Texas for a job, and during that time, I was able to visit an arcade in Houston called Planet Zero, and actually at Planet Zero, I met Adil. So
And
Paul,
Jan was there for a little bit too, right? And then
yes,
yeah.
yeah, a lot of the Texas players actually went to that arcade, and so I met them there. Conjugated, tried to learn, and basically, how does the game work? What am I supposed to do? Things like that. And at the same time, when I'd go back home, I would go to training mode. I would look up videos. I would look up better players than me and try to understand what they were doing. So I basically tried to do that for about 2.5 years now, and I
Okay.
think on average I played about 8 to 12 hours a day. On
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
on top of my 10-hour job. So I
Yeah.
lit I literally probably sleep for 4 to 5 hours a day, which is probably not healthy. But
Any of this gaming you did, what do you feel about playing online?
I think I mean without online, I definitely could not make it here. I would say that much.
Okay.
I think online is an excellent platform for testing. So the way I use online, due to the infrastructure, the nature of the infrastructure is not advanced yet. So there will always be a experience of lag when
Yeah.
you're playing. So you cannot emulate offline play 100%.
So you're
But
basically saying you played 4 to 5 hours a day offline, like with your local guys or in like the training room or something like that.
yeah, on total it was 8 to 10. But like yeah, maybe 4 hours offline and 5 6 hours online and training mode by myself.
I have a lot of
That's a lot of
respect for
playing.
that.
Huh?
I said I have a lot of respect for that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to find time to play in general, but to spend that amount of time, it's impressive.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
I
I
chose
think
well when I did that interview with you.
Oh yeah, thank you, Emily. It was actually really a pleasure. I actually thank everyone that gives me a chance to just. It's interesting to me actually. It's kind of interesting that people want to hear my story, or that I feel like that. I'm not someone special. I'm just a normal guy. I probably was sitting at the back row of any venue during any tournament. I'm that guy in the last row, who just wanted to do something. And for me, I just tried my best, and I hope I can continue to give my best to become a better player and a better person.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that you're just a normal guy. You're definitely someone special if the grind is real. I mean, like
Yeah.
you have people in the chat being like, he's hungry for it. That's the type of passion, that I like and I respect and all that stuff. So even though you think you might just be, just some guy, you're definitely like just kind of rising up and shining, and other people are noticing you for it. So good job on that.
Yeah.
You'd be
Okay.
really surprised at how many people know who you are. Doing what I've been doing, I have a lot of players who haven't gone to major tournaments yet, but that watch all the time, and they read my interviews, and they'll message me, and they know who you are. You'd be surprised at who they know, because they know Kate, they know Blacktastic, they know Curtis, they know everyone.
Yeah, I
they
think,
are
the thing too is that at the end of the day, we're all so close knit, and even to the point of, where is that person from? Which local are they from? What part of the community are they from? And yeah, it definitely all goes, word of mouth, definitely in this community. Yeah, it's good stuff. Curtis, you have that Fey Long Beat sprite? You gotta show that.
Yeah, I met Hamad. I known Hamad for a little bit, but I formally sat down with him at KIT, this past KIT. And it was just impressive watching that Faye go to work. And I told him that I was like, I'm predicting you to go top 4 in this tournament. There's literally no reason for you not to get anything less than top 4. And he surprised a hell out of me and a lot of other people,
Oh, yeah.
except for himself, because I'm pretty sure he was like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to beat Justin and Ricky up. But I was just amazed sitting back there watching that whole set between Ricky Ortiz and Justin Wong, and I'm just like,
Yeah, you were on a roll, Hamad. You were on a roll. We were all like, I remember, because I was on the phone with the deal, and we're like, I wonder what's going on with the stream. So, type it up. And then the next thing you know, I'm like, oh, Hamad's on. We're like, oh my God, it's Hamad versus Justin. Man, that was intense. That was an intense
And
match.
he has
And a
the gall to
reset
call
too,
himself just that normal guy. Look at this.
yeah. I'm just like, a normal guy does not put hands on Justin like that ever. I'm just like, what am I watching right now? I was like, and I'm standing next to Eric Big E, and he's like, Justin, get the fat man, stop playing around with him. I'm like, look, even if you get the fat man, Hamad's still gonna put hands on him, man. I said it from jump, and E just looked at me like all crazy, like I just said that. I'm like, I said that, E. Hamad gonna win this thing now, man. You don't understand.
Yeah.
This dude's hungry. He ready.
Curtis, you're my man. You know that, right?
I know, man. I told you, I keep it 100% with you. When I saw you, I was like, he got this. As soon
I'll
as
tell
he
you what,
beat
though.
Ricky,
I mean, there were some times, man, it was close. It was close. I was like, oh my goodness, Justin, man, he's so smart, but you figured it out. You figured it out by being patient, and just playing smart. Yeah, it was great. That was
See,
definitely
Katie's
a great
talking about
match.
all this, and then I see DB Joseph in the chat saying, "Did I miss the part where Hamad talked about how he mashed?" you gonna let him call you out like that, man?
damn.
Hamad is
I can't call out DBJ. I mean, he's a speedrun champion in Donkey Kong, so I think we have to appreciate it.
Oh, I know. But while he's out there at the GDQs, you're out here, just busting ass at the Street Fighter tournaments.
Right.
Yeah. Hamad's a very strategic masher. Like, you won't even see it coming a mile away, I promise you.
Hey, I'll tell you what, sometimes mashing is totally legitimate. If you win,
If you
do
win,
it.
if you win,
Dude,
he's calling you out, man. First to 5. Are we gonna see you versus DB Joseph first to 5?
You don't want to do that.
I don't want to shame DBJ on stream.
Oh my!
I think the shots.
Am I gonna have to get DVJ on here and talk the good stuff? Are we gonna feature this at Emily's next session of Berserk?
I
DBJ,
mean,
I love you, bro, man, but
I don't know. Getting after this, maybe I will.
Yeah, but
shout out-
it's a very humbling experience for sure.
I personally think that Hamad's humility is what separates him from 90% of the players that I've usually met, because every time you ask him if he thinks he's good, he always tells you, no, I don't think I'm good. And I feel that that kind of attitude shows that you're never in a comfort zone, and that you always feel like you need to improve something or maximize something. And honestly, that's a very similar thinking to how Japanese players also think when they play their game. They never feel like they reach a plateau. They're always striving to achieve more.
I think too a little bit with how their gaming community and structure is held in Japan. They have access to, arcades, and they have easier access to, well, I mean, I know you guys have all kinds of stuff going on in Texas, but sometimes it's harder for people in more remote areas. We have to rely on the internet, we don't have access to all that stuff. And from what I heard, I don't know how true this is or not, but they might be a little bit more easier with giving information to each other and everything on how to do things different ways. Whereas with us, we're all so spread out and everything. Our internet connection isn't as good.
Some of us are also egomaniacs.
Huh?
Some of us are also egomaniacs.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I mean, to be quite honest, you kind of need some of that because, I mean, come on, You've got people that help give some life to some
look,
of this
Katie,
stuff.
look,
You need those
Katie.
pop-offs, Bobby.
No, and that's completely fine. In a tournament setting, that's completely fine. But when you're talking about growing a scene, getting a community of people to level up and beat other people, and you're that egomaniac asshole that says, "Oh, I'm not going to show you how to beat my character because I want to beat every tournament at my local," that scene's not going to grow. It's going to be dead. They're all going to travel out to this tournament. And the guy who's an egomaniac, he's barely gonna break top 48. So it's completely asinine to have that sort of negative attitude, especially towards your own people when you're trying to build a scene in a community. And these are the same amount of people that actually say, go on social media, Twitter, Facebook, like, oh my god, I can't play well because I don't have people to grow a scene with. Those are the type of hypocritical people that just do that, and it pisses me off to this day. But anyways, I went off on too much of a tangent there.
One way or another, I think every... Well, I mean, I can't say that. But I mean, every group will have people in it that'll feel,
Right.
That's just how they act out because they're probably upset at how their performance is, so you really can't. But all I can say is that sometimes, I'm not going to lie, at a major event, I want to see a stick getting broken every once in a while, I want to see someone jump up and, flip out,
Speaking of breaking sticks, did Sanford ever broke his stick last weekend?
What?
Did he ever toss his stick last weekend? He was at South by Southwest, right?
No, he didn't break his stick last weekend, did he? I don't think.
Oh, that's a
no,
shame.
that was
Wait.
last summer.
Wait, are you talking about him at South by Southwest?
Yeah.
Or
no?
Oh, no. He was fine. Like, he was actually enjoying himself a lot. He got to play all of the players, and it was actually a great learning experience for him. Honestly, he was having a blast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you know Sanford, you know how Sanford gets, but it wasn't like
Man, if you want to see some epic pop-offs, you got to watch those Mortal Kombat guys. Man, they are something else. In Mortal Kombat and Injustice and Killer Instinct.
Speaking
guys,
of egomaniac assholes, but I'm not gonna. let me chill. Let me calm down.
I think
Curtis, back me up here, man. Come on.
I'll be 100% real. I think that I think players nowadays, I don't know, maybe it was like this before. Obviously, I'm not more experienced to know this, but I feel like if you need to hide something to win, then you're just a gimmick. And if you're a gimmick, then how can you take pride in knowing that your victory comes from not from the fundamentals and the respect for the game. So what the game teaches you, basically, but it comes from just character specific or something that's innately given to you. To be able to take pride in something like that, I think is very petty, and that doesn't help the scene.
Oh no, I
Actually,
completely agree.
Yeah.
in Texas, actually in Houston, I think I legitimately, there was one weekly where I was winning. I think every weekly for like the past 3 months, and then we have Brawly Legs and Forwood here, and I mean I always practice with Forwood, so he knows everything about my character. But Brawly usually he didn't used to come and practice with us. So there was one week actually he came out to the weekly, and I legitimately, after I beat him, I told him everything how to be my character. So I legitimately broke it down for him in trading mode and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, how I think in the match.
Right.
And the thing is, the beauty of it is that he came next week and he beat me in a
Oh,
weekly.
nice.
So the thing after that weekly, it forced me to adjust and come back the next week and beat him, and so on a cycle of like rivalry. And because of that, I have not lost to a Chun-Li maybe in 3 years. So I know that matchup like the back of my hand, even though it's a terrible matchup for Fei Long. But just because I know it, I've beat Japanese Fei Long, European Fei Long, South American South American Chun-Lis.
Yeah.
But I think that's what growing the scene is about. It's about sharing information and not becoming a gimmick.
Yeah.
Be able to win off of your fundamentals and your ability to read the game. And I think if you respect the game and if you are that type of person and you want to succeed, then I think this is honestly, in my opinion, the only way.
And I definitely agree. And to go off of what everybody is saying, I mean, I've seen it happen a lot, even in the scene over here, where a lot of players will be really passionate, and you always have that like one or two people, that kind of give that negative,
kind of like maybe vibe,
negative attitude, negative vibe. Yes, and the way I view it is there's a difference between, they'll say, oh, we're just being competitive. And to me, there's a difference between being competitive in a positive way, where you're still all working together to help grow the scene, and being completely negative all together. And that negativity that, Bobby was talking about, and even, Hamid brought up a little bit, that is almost in a sense what holds the community back, and kind of like what I was talking about before with really persevering past that and pushing forward and focusing on those that are really passionate
trying
about it,
hard,
do care about it and the community as a whole. And you kind of have to almost leave those negative people and those negative vibes behind, and otherwise it's just going to weigh you down. I've talked with players before who get upset because of what negative things are being said via Twitch about them. And one of the things I told them is, those people are not important because they're online and they're just saying things. You can't let those people, those negative vibes, get in the way of everything you've accomplished. Look at how far you've come.
and especially building on that, when you think of how involved we're all getting with this stuff, those negative vibes can affect you on your everyday life, and it can affect you when you're at work, and it can affect you, when you're trying to relax. You're thinking, oh man, this guy just called me a scrub. He lives in my area. I got to see him next week. I got to try to practicing it better, so I can, beat him flat out, work on those fundamentals and stuff. And then, he can't call you a scrub unless he's just trolling on you, but that's like my scene. See, we never like had a problem with anything like that. The problem with my scene was we kept kind of getting kicked out of our locations, and eventually we got in Carnegie Mellon, and the school has let us for the past I'm gonna say 3 years now, been able to let us take out a room. So that's good. So if you have a nice solid location where everyone can set everything up and have space. I think that helps too. Yeah. You guys have the Smash? Do the Smash people come to your guys' locals too, or they come to ours?
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good. How about you guys?
Yeah,
Adele
we
and Hamad?
we have a Smash scene.
Is that on
Pretty,
a separate day, or do they come the same time that you guys are there?
there might be a few there on the FGC days. Well, like the main FGC games, but usually Smash is so big that they usually end up getting for their tournaments, they at least get a minimum of 50 to 60 people here.
Wow.
So, and they
Okay.
have to bring their own setups and stuff, and that tournament fills up very quickly. So, that's Smash is really big in Texas in general.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's getting bigger everywhere actually because of the push it's getting towards esports, and the general interest is rising in the game.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
All right. But yeah, as far as South by Southwest goes, I mean, if you guys saw the stream, it was pretty amazing as far as the quality of matches go. And it was just great to see how much it's more than just the skill level of the player, because I think skill level can be measured in a variety of ways. Every player has their own strengths and weaknesses, but one thing you notice when you play Japanese, that the upper echelon of Japanese players, is that they play they play according to their matchup. They don't play based on their personal feelings. They play what they think is the most optimal and the best thing to do, regardless of if they're playing Justin Wong or the random Rufus down the street. They play them the exact same way. And I found that very interesting to experience firsthand.
Okay.
We actually got a chance to play with them. Like I said, I've never played Daigo in my life. I've always wanted to play him, but the problem is that he was just really hard to approach because everyone was always around him and he can't really speak English and needs a translator. But this time I actually got to, actually speak some words with him and actually get a lot of games with him. So that's one of the first things that I noticed playing him, was that even though I realized where the areas I was weak in, he didn't try to exploit winning based on my weaknesses. He just tried to play me based on his knowledge of the matchup.
Now, was this like the Evil Ryu Akuma matchup here?
Right.
Okay.
He wasn't playing me any different than he would play Takedo, even though we clearly have differences in our style. But I found that really interesting. They would just always put themselves in optimal situations and do the optimal things regardless of the person playing the character. And I think that's a really interesting way that you can also play the game.
Nice.
So yeah, but Hamad can tell you more about that as far as his match with Daigo and Kazunoko on the stage that he got to play in.
Yeah, let's break a couple of those matches down,
yes.
Mr. Hamad.
Yeah.
I think on the first day on Friday, we started all at 12 o'clock, and as Adil said earlier, it went down until 7 at night, or 6 at night, basically. But for me on Friday, we got in at Thursday night, and I didn't really sleep well, and I had, that late night food that you shouldn't have. So by the first time on the first match, I had to play Kazunoko, and for some reason, I usually don't get nervous on the big stage. I just don't get nervous. It's just, for me, it's more about being me and coming in with the game plan I had in mind and executing what I want to do. But when I played Kazunoko, for some reason, with every factor combined, not enough sleep, bad food, stomach ache, and just insecurity in the matchup, the way he made me feel by playing him, I just played horribly that first match. And I honestly could not even give a good show. So I was really embarrassed with my performance. And I actually sat down in the crowd with Adil, and I told him, I'm never going to lose that way again, and that I promise I will come back. And I played Gamerby the next match right after, and he played Elena, which is a really hard matchup for Fei Long. And he got the better of me, and it was a good match, and he deservingly beat me in that match. So I basically was down 2-0 in the first day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess when my back is against the wall, I think Justin told me this. He told me I was down 0-2, and Justin came up to me and he said, when your back is against the wall, that's when the Hamad I know shows up. And sure enough, I beat Knuckledo and Ricky Ortiz to tie it up on the first day. So I thought that motivation, and I think that's maybe some trait I have that's within me to do that.
Let me stop you a bit right there. Do you notice, like, do you yourself notice any change in your play style or your personality, even when your back is against the wall, rather than just playing casually or whatever in the tournament setting?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm a horrible casual player, if that exists. I think that I play. I actually talked with Eduardo Perez, so Mr. PR Balrog,
Uh,
and he told me that I have way too much fun in casuals, which is something I always do because I just love playing the game. So I usually smile. I'm usually really receptive to smart things, and I don't take it as in a competitive sense. I try to learn more so in casuals. So I usually lose a lot in casuals.
okay.
But when it becomes tournament, I change my mindset completely, and for me it becomes about winning and about being able to do what I want to do, and to do it at 100%. And I think the ability that this weekend made me realize is that when it's time for seriousness, don't even have that don't think that, oh, I'm playing casually, oh, it's fun, I have the honor of playing with Daigo or Kazunoko. No, you're sitting there and you have a mission, and you're going to go and complete the mission, and you have to be 100% honest with yourself that you are going to give 1000% in that match, and that you are serious, and that every little thing is going to affect you, and that you know this, but you're going to accept it and you're going to move on.
Mhm.
And I think in tournament, it's something I notice about myself is that my reactions and my knowledge and my risk taking becomes really on point, because people tell me a lot that, Hamad, you would never uppercut uppercut me in casual, but you would never do it in tournament. But I think people that know me now, they know that if I tell you that I will do something, I will do it because I believe it's the correct decision to do.
Okay, so
And
so what about the shift of pace between when you're just starting out in that tournament versus when you were down 0-2? Where's the X factor happen, basically?
Yeah, that adrenaline.
I think the X factor for me personally is that I I hate. I think it's not even about win. I think when I'm down, it doesn't become about winning. It's not actually for me. It's never about winning. It's about not losing, and I think that mindset is way different than a lot of players have. I hate losing. I hate it so much that it scares me. It's not even that people don't understand this. They think like for you to have a fear of something is bad. That that all like good players or something, they're not scared. No, we're all scared. But that fear of losing, I think to me, it makes me go into that mode where I just can't lose. I feel like if I lose, then I literally lose in life. That if I die in the game, in life I lose a part of me. And I think when I'm down and I see it, it's like kind of you can see the end of the tunnel. That's when I definitely don't want to be going down the end of the tunnel. I probably put on my Nikes and run run the opposite direction. So I think maybe that's something I know. I really do notice that actually in tournaments when I'm down, I really do. I never give up, and I think that's very important.
That's
Yeah, I
actually
think.
a really. I'm sorry, Adele. You can go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say I think that's actually his best asset that separates him from a lot of players that I've seen.
Uh, okay, so let's shift it from like a third person perspective. Okay, so Mr. Adil, you certainly noticed the changes in Akbar when he's down, or like basically when his X factor is it the same as like when you play or when you witness somebody else play? Like do these people have like different things that set them off, or what do you think here?
I think everyone is different. Me personally, when I'm down, I have a bad way of not coming back from that. Like I'm the type of player that operates where I have to make everything go my way, and if something doesn't go my way, then unfortunately it does get to me, and I feel it affects my decisions later on. It's really really hard to come back from a mental state where you're not where you're not where you want to be. you know.
Mhm.
And I've always found it a challenge to try to fix that, mainly because I play the lowest HP character in the game, so I have to make my decisions count for more than some other characters do, because one wrong decision could mean the end of the round for me.
A lot of damage.
Right. And that stress can stress me out outside of the game, which also affects my performance. And the what really separates the above average players from the top players is that mentality. It's not really the game at that point. It's how do you keep your mental state the same no matter what? How do you
Right.
prevent yourself from entering a depression or entering something that's bad for you, that could detract from your ability to win? And it's important to know that you always have to keep a mental state that encourages you to play at your best. And that's something, there's no shortcut to that. There's no way to cheat that. That's just something that just comes with experience. And even players of Hamad's level go through that. And I keep telling people that the only thing that separates me from Hamad was my tournament experience, and that's why at times I would place as high as he does, even though I feel that he's a much stronger player than me. Is the fact that I was able to keep my composure, but now he's getting to the point where that's not even affecting him. So now you're seeing the differences in results that show for it. So.
All right, so piggybacking off that, let me ask the entire chat, and the people who are watching via Twitch can join in too. Since we're all basically tournament players, if, you guys have played once or twice or maybe 30 times in your entire lives, what is this mental guard break state, and what do you as a player do to prevent yourself from being guard broken in a tournament match?
Is that something you're asking the chat, or you're asking?
Well, I mean, I'm asking
Okay.
you guys as well.
Okay. Well, I actually have something funny about that. So we had this interesting gimmick that happened over the weekend where
Okay.
Hamad had this alpaca toy. I don't know if you guys saw it on the stream, but it
I
came
didn't
out.
know that.
It came out. It came out on the stream when he had to play Justin, right? So it's this little like alpaca toy that makes this really, really funny squeaky noise when you squeeze it. Okay, it's the kind of noise that if you were to hear it when you're playing serious, you can't help but laugh. Like no one was immune to it. Like Snake Eyes was dying at laughing. Justin was like, "What the heck is this?" And like, so I told Hamad, I'm like, "Dude, bring this to the tournament. Like, put this on the table and have your opponent squeeze it or like mess around with it. Just like have fun with it." So, at first he was kind of like second guessing about bringing it, but then on one of the days we actually did bring it. And he brought it out to his match with Justin, and he gave it to Justin. He's like, "Here, Justin, squeeze this thing for me." And he started making this like funny noise, and Justin was like really confused as to why he gave him the toy, But it's little things like that where it can take away a lot of the tension from the match and just have you in that state where you just want to play, and you realize that this is also about fun and not just about only winning or only losing. Because I promise you, when you get into that state where it's only about winning and only about losing, you probably won't do as well as you think you can.
Too much pressure.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And any little thing you can do to decrease the amount of pressure that's around you is always a good thing.
Yeah.
And I've been a victim of that too, where I've worried too much about my performance, and then my performance suffered for it. Yet there would be times where I really didn't care much, or I would just go and just play naturally, and my results improved because of it. So mental state is everything, I feel.
Go ahead.
I also think that mentally, a lot of if you look at Justin Wong, for example, he has the Wong factor. So people always know that. I think he's very well known for that he can always come back. And the funny thing is that in some ways, I think over time and being close to Justin, and even Adil has helped me so much with understanding the like how important the mental state is. I think over time, just being around these two people and seeing how they act and acting similar and laughing and enjoying it, I think when it comes down to the game and when you sit down, it really shows on the players who are mentally strong and who can't get guard broken, because their goal is not there's no end result. Win or lose, they will be at the next tournament, the tournament
Yeah.
after, tournament after and after. So they're there for a bigger goal, and they themselves acknowledge that. And when you acknowledge that, I feel you become a stronger player. And I think it's funny that it had to come down between me and Justin to qualify for Sunday, and that the match was so intense, and that we were both coming back on each other. And I thought it was really, really interesting because the fact that it showed that mentally we were both on that level, and I thought it was really, for me, I think as much as I was disappointed, I think that aspect of my mental state I was really proud of, to be honest.
Yeah, I also personally feel that I feel that Justin and Hamad are very strong rivals as well as friends too. I feel that they consider each other like they respect each other very highly, of course, and I feel that Hamad personally regards Justin as one of his greatest rivals, and they're always pushing each other to be better, and I feel that's also important too.
Nice.
Emily, you were about to say something.
I was, but I was waiting for everybody to finish. Just to go based off of the question that you had asked and the topic, I know for myself, one thing that a lot of players do is they psych themselves out in tournament.
Oh yeah.
For example, I'm totally guilty of it, especially at Winter Brawl 9 that just passed. My first match in Street Fighter was against KDZ. And even though I knew that KDZ had won Evo for Injustice, not Street Fighter, I had completely psyched myself out. And I kept telling myself to not do it. And, you learn all the moves, you know them all in training mode, and then you go and play against someone else, and it's completely different. And I was so focused on not psyching myself out when I played against him that I ended up psyching myself out, and I was making very dumb mistakes, and it was very frustrating because I knew I was making dumb mistakes. And I had a conversation with him afterwards, and he's like, "Why'd you do that?" And I was just like, "I don't know." like you know that you're doing it, but it's just, I don't know, it's like a cycle. Once you put yourself into that mentality, trying to get out of it, especially when you're in the middle of playing a match, is very difficult. And you also have, a loudspeaker in your ear, and they're yelling for other people to come to their matches, and it can be very distracting. But my next match after that, for those that know me, is I play T-Hawk. He's my main, and my next match was against the Honda player in Losers. And, he's one of T-Hawk's worst matchups. And I was like, oh, great. I'm lost to KDZ now. I'm definitely out. I don't know how I'm going to beat Honda.
It's going to be an uphill battle.
Right. And so the great thing, and it was really funny, it was an intense match, and I wish I would have recorded it. I ended up winning it, but it took a lot of focus. We kind of each had our own, powerhouse team standing behind us that kind of all, they weren't there before, but suddenly they were there, and I had no idea who was whispering, telling me to do moves and to calm down and relax. But having that there really helped me, and I was a lot more focused in that match, and I somehow managed. I mean, it was one of those situations where you're down to 1 and 1, and whoever wins the next one wins, or you're the one that gets knocked out. And we each had a small slither of health, and it just was a matter of who gets in first and who hits, and I somehow managed to be that person, and it was a relief. You feel really great about it, but I also realized that I wasn't psyching myself out. I wasn't thinking about psyching myself out. I had people there reminding me that I needed to stay focused, and to, if another player is going in on you, for me, oftentimes, I get nervous that I'm not going to be able to stop them. So I start to try to do moves, and then I psych myself out more. And the mentality to keep yourself completely focused and in the game 100%, it's so important, especially at tournaments when there are so many loud things going on around you and you might not have headphones. So,
All right, so going forward, What are the precautions that you're gonna take so you don't psych yourself out again? Like what's you gotta lay yourself a couple of ground rules so you can just stay focused. So
Yeah.
Right. So one thing I did, and I tried to use them earlier, they weren't working. I got headphones actually at Winter Brawl 9. I've been wanting them for a really long time.
okay.
And I think for me personally, they will help because I won't have all the outside noise. I'll be able to use those headphones at tournament where all I'm actually hearing is Street Fighter or is whatever the game is that I'm playing. So it's going to keep me a lot more focused. I can tune everything out and just listen as well as watch what's going on. Another thing is remembering to be patient. That's one thing I'm guilty of sometimes as well, is not being patient enough, and because of that, you make sloppy mistakes. So I'm definitely aware of the issues I have when it comes to that. I was, I knew all my moves in offense, but for a while I was, not blocking very well. So I practiced for a while, blocking. I know that the outside noise distracts me and it makes me lose focus from the game. So I got headphones. So I'm hoping the next tournament I go to, I'll be able to use them, and maybe that'll, help me stay more focused on the game. Yes. I hope. I'll let you guys know.
I know
I think,
sometimes for me, chewing gum helps.
Really?
You know?
Till you bite your tongue?
Huh?
Till you bite your tongue?
Yeah, well, you sometimes, hopefully if the next person you're going to be playing is already playing at that time, and then you can watch, their matches and stuff, maybe see what they're doing.
But
things
Katie,
like that.
that's cheating.
What?
You know what?
No, it's not. It's public observation.
I love seeing Katie's matches because she gets really upset when
I
someone
really
does
piss.
something crazy.
Especially at the end. I really do.
Like I literally
I do real good, and then I start losing, and then I simmer down, and I start doing well, and then when it starts to turn, and then I just go straight down, and then I'm just like, F this, and I just play,
YOLO?
I don't,
no. She confuses
I'm
her down back
supposed to lame them out. I'm supposed to lame out the character, but by the time the second hill goes down, I'm just like, I'm going in. And you can't just like blindly go in with Vega. You can't give up the distance. And I always get like nonsense, Yeah.
Yeah, you end up confusing down back with up forward when you're upset.
Oh God!
Wait, what? Is this an actual thing?
I jump in a lot. I make a lot of stupid mistakes. There's a lot of empty jumps.
Come on, Katie.
Anyway, you know what? This show isn't about me.
Look, I was posing this question as an open forum to the Skype call and to the chat, so it's not about you, okay? We're not pointing fingers.
Oh.
I'm pointing a finger though. But
you know what? I actually do agree a little bit with Katie. Knowing who you're gonna play, what character the person you play beforehand is gonna play really helps out. I mean, luckily for me at Winter Brawl, I just kind of walked up to the guy who was running the brackets, and I'm like, "Hey, who am I playing next?" And he goes up this guy, and he just was like, he plays Honda, and I was just like, "Oh, that was nice."
But Emily, that's cheating.
It's not cheating if they just give me it. All I asked was who I was playing. I just asked who they played.
Look, be courage, just shaking our heads, man. Just man.
Hey, I mean, there's no shame in that. I mean, last year at Evo, I went up to Taquito because after I made out of pools and I had to play my next match, I had to play a Japanese Blanca player, and I was like, "Hey, Taquito, do you know who this person is?" And it's actually a woman, and he was like, "Yeah, I know who she is." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, so she plays Blanca, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, she plays Blanca." And I'm like, "How is she?" I'm like, and she's like, "Yeah, she's okay." And I'm like, "Okay." I don't want to ask anymore.
But Forward, that's cheating. You guys are a bunch of sharks.
The moral compass What
Shenanigans.
the heck?
I am trying to keep this as sane and as family sanctioned as possible, and you're just talking about like, oh, I'm just gonna get to download the little scoop on this unsuspecting player right here.
Oh.
You want to know the scoop? Let me tell you the scoop. All right. So we went up to Taquito over the weekend, right? And Hamad approached Taquito just as a joke. He was like, okay, so how do I beat Daigo? What's the secret? He literally asked Taquito that, right? And you know what Taquito's answer was? Taquito was like, Daigo very strong in long set, but 2 out of 3, just do it.
Oh my god, I cannot believe what I'm hearing right now.
We should cut that out of the YouTube.
Shaking my head.
Yeah, guys.
Shaking my head.
Cut that
Oh,
out of
God.
the YouTube.
I can't believe my virgin ears. They cannot. They cannot process what's going on here. Okay, actually, last question, and then we'll cut it. But I really want to have all your guys' opinion on this. So we touched a bit about Japanese players and how they're more technical with their gameplay rather than us Westerners who are mainly instinctive. We also talked about cheating, getting the download on everything and all that. But the question that I wanted to ask was, and I think I forgot because I was just completely guard broken about what you guys were saying.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, and we were also talking about how Hamad and Justin had this little friendly rivalry going on and stuff. So, how do you feel whenever you're playing versus a friend in tournament versus playing a completely different person, like a complete stranger? Do your play styles matter, or I mean, do they change up, or do you completely disrespect this guy that you don't know? What are your thoughts on that? We'll start with Hamad.
I think when I play my, I actually say this even though they're my friend in outside the game, but the minute we sit in the tournament and the minute I plug in the joystick, I will do my best to beat you. Like, there is nothing
See?
I will not do to beat you. And I think Snake Eyes is a very close friend of mine, and really good friend with me and Adil. Actually, we've been not even for the game. He calls us, we talk to him all the time. He's just a wonderful guy that we know. But when it comes to the game, I always tell Snake Eyes that when I sit down and it's our turn to fight, be ready
Don't be
because
that ass.
I will beat you. And I think that is something I definitely I do bring when it is that. As for if it's a new person and you don't know how he plays, I always don't make the mistake of that because thanks to the advent of YouTube and all these sources, you're always able to look up a player. But when I play a
Hamad,
player-
that's cheating! Oh my god, people! What is?
I don't think it's cheating.
It's called
because
research.
I think if you
Yeah.
even looking at the way the person plays on a video
Yeah.
is entirely different.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's the biggest mistake new players make.
Yep.
So they watch a video and they say, "Oh, but if in this situation, if you did this, you could have won here. Oh, in this situation, if you did this, you could have been in a better position." Well, when you play a match, you are in real time. You are making a decision. You are the decision maker. There is not your friend
Right.
here. There's no team. There's no one else. It's you making the decision in real time. And when you're playing a new player, even if you have a bit of data from YouTube or whatnot, you want to be able to be 100% in the match. I always tell people, I don't care what Kazunoko did yesterday. I don't care what he did the day before. I only care about what he's about to do. And I think that's very important for you to recognize the situation that's in front of you in the game. And that's how I play every match. I come in with counters and whatnot, but if my opponent, for some reason, is not feeling well today, then I might be more aggressive.
Right.
If he's playing on point, then I'll probably play more passive and see if he's gonna, kill himself or hang himself. And you have to be able to recognize the mental state, and that's how, friend or not friend. And I think it just becomes about trying to beat your opponent. And I think good players, they're able to categorize how the mental state is during the match.
Anybody
And
want to
also, Well, touching on that subject, I feel that, with all the information that's out there now, I feel that it actually brings out the best in players because, back in the day when YouTube wasn't around and there wasn't a way to research opponents or anything really, I feel that holding back secrets and gimmicks were a lot more important than they are now. Because now a lot of the information is already out there. And when you do your research and look at what players are doing and the strategies they're using and even how their play styles affect their strategy, it takes away all of the fluff from the game in the sense that there is a very slim chance that a top level player will lose to, just a whole bunch of setups or just weird things in the game that they don't understand because they'll have the research done.
Yeah.
And then it boils down to who is the better player at that point. Because if I can block all of your setups and you can block all of my setups and my gimmicks don't work and your gimmicks don't work, then who wins? And that's what the highest level of play actually boils down to.
Right,
And
the
that's
people
where,
that know their character the best.
right.
And
that's
your
where,
character too, actually. Yeah.
exactly. And that's where all the deficiencies come out from the top level players and everyone below them.
Yeah.
So, and it's also, speaking of that, there was something really interesting that I'd like to talk about with Hamad's playstyle. For those that have been keeping up with the way he plays, I've actually read, comments on event hubs and other places that they really enjoy his Fei Long style because it's exciting to watch, and in the sense that it's not about just doing what the character is supposed to do; it's about making the most of what the character can do. And one thing that you'll notice when you see Hamad play is the amount of he sets up. He'll encourage some risks that are very calculated. He'll do things that other players are too afraid to do because it's unsafe or because it could lead to a change in momentum. But the psychological impact it can have on a player is also important. And like, for example, with Hamad, he's actually known for doing things like a dragon punch on an opponent's wake up, regardless of their skill level. And there would be people that tell Hamad that, if that was Daigo or if that was, Kazunoko, you would not do that to them because you respect them. And Hamad would always say, no, I will gauge them based on what they're doing in the match. And if I feel it's the right thing to do, I will do it. And sure enough, he, when playing Daigo, did an EX uppercut on his wake up and it actually connected on him in the corner. Without any meter to cancel, or it was just a plain
DP.
read. Yeah, it was a DP that was calculated and set up based on the rounds that occurred before, and it paid off in a big way for him at the time. So I found that to be a marquee moment for him also.
You know how we're talking about playing your friends, and then I think it also the opposite is playing not your friends, right? So in this case, it was, obviously Daigo. I have no affiliation with Daigo or whatnot.
Yeah.
And the first time I've met him, and when I sat down, actually when I was playing an earlier match, for my brother actually who was in attendance and for Wood told me that the minute I was playing Reinhardt earlier, that Daigo was basically not, he was like lifeless. But the minute I started beating on Ryan, that he started talking very fast to all the other Japanese players. So like that there was something about my playstyle or something that he enjoyed. I thought that's what they were saying. So when I played Daigo, the mental state you need to play a player of that caliber is you cannot play the book. The book doesn't work because if you play by the book, then the numbers come into play. And when the numbers come into play, it just is a defined matchup of what you are supposed to do. There is nothing you are supposed to do. What you are supposed to do is win. And
So
the way
what you're saying is you're reading your opponent.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't make a difference who that opponent is,
of course,
you're reading the situation that opponent's doing, and then you're trying to do a 50-50
it's
on
not really
what,
a 50-50.
like high risk, high reward on what your next plan of attack's going to be.
It's only a 50-50 if you're going in with no data.
With the thing is, I study my opponent so well, and I put in so much time, and I understand I can reach a point in terms of psychology with my opponent that I know him so well that I can, for that 1 second, I actually love him for who he is, because once I know that, once I reach that state and I can understand him not as only as a character like Guile or whoever, but as or Evil Ryu in this case. But once I can understand the person behind it
Yeah.
and who he is and what ticks him off, what doesn't tick him off, if he likes Cheerios in the morning or Honey Nut cereal,
It's that real.
if I know
2 scoops
exactly,
of sugar?
yeah, if I know exactly who he is for who he is as a person, I can break him down systematically. And what people don't understand is that when you reach a top player status or a top player gameplay, it's all about breaking down your opponent. And what people might see as a, oh, you would have went for a grab or an uppercut. It's not really I would have went for a grab or an uppercut. If I went for an uppercut, I wouldn't have done EX Shoryuken. I did EX because I knew 100% it was going to hit because of the way I set him up in that match. And people who watch that game and understand Street Fighter at its fundamental, they will understand why that uppercut hit him and why it would have hit him. That 50-50 as people would see it, it was maybe an 85-15 actually. And I think that is the beauty of the game and the beauty of being able to read your opponent for who he is, not for a friend, a foe, an enemy. I don't bring emotion into it. I bring the ability to just see into his soul, basically, who he is. And then you break him down. And I think that's the beauty of fighting games and competitive gaming in general.
This is like
Well,
the
you heard it
realest
here
talk.
first,
Yeah, this is the
folks.
realest talk that's
Hamad
happening.
plays for your soul.
You know, speaking of real talk, Hamad, I actually have a question for you. Are you buying everyone ice cream at final round? Is this a confirmed fact?
Where did this rumor start?
The confirm was, if I told DBJ this, that I was planning really to go to final round, but unfortunately due to my work schedule, I have a conference during that week, which sadly would not allow me to attend final round. But I did promise I would buy anyone who could recognize me and come say hi to me. I would buy him ice cream. But this
word?
this is 100% true.
Yeah,
And I will,
hopefully it's
Next
Okay.
time I see
So speaking of that, I have other questions in the chat too, asking what is Hamad's tournament schedule?
so my tournament schedule is asking for what majors I will be attending.
Yeah, majors that you'll be attending, so that you may buy us ice cream.
I will be at the Cali tournaments. So NCR, SCR is my goal for now. I've
Sweet.
said it.
have my ice cream ready at NCR.
Curtis, if you want double scoop, you're the only one that can get double scoop.
What?
So,
What?
Very-
No, you should come to the East Coast and buy us all like hot
No.
fudge brownie sundaes.
No.
Ahmad, you have to buy me pistachio ice cream tomorrow when I see you.
Can I just get a parfait? That's all I want. That's all I want. Just a parfait.
but I promise, legit, if you see me at the tournament and you recognize me, and literally you do want ice cream, and there is an ice cream that I shop or something, the Haagen-Dazs nearby, I will buy you ice cream. I am your free ice cream.
I will hold you to that.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. Hamad is free. Well, only for ice cream.
Oh, damn.
Only for ice cream.
But one scoop. You guys can't go in on that specialty flavors and the caramel pistachio blend with I don't know what. You guys have to choose the one. You know,
Yeah, I'll get the Rocky
RGB
Road,
one.
the minty mousse.
See, we gotta get those little bead sprite necklaces that says "Vote for Hamad" and on either side a little ice cream cone.
I would wear that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff, folks. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
yeah, let's go. Oh yeah, actually, wow, it is actually 10:45. So what? We had way too much fun on here. What I'm gonna do is go around the little Skype chat and ask for some final thoughts or whatever, some shout outs, whatever you guys want to say. Adil, we will start with you. Then we'll go with Hamad, then Emily, then Curtis, and then we'll close it out with me and Katie.
well, I guess as far as shoutouts go, I just want to say shoutouts to everyone here in the Houston scene. That includes, of course, Hamad for performing extremely well over the weekend. Players like Jan that keep players like me and Hamad motivated, and just the rest of the Houston scene. They know who they are. Shout outs to anyone that visits my website, displaylag.com, to buy a TV. You guys always help out, and I do this a lot for the community and also for everyone that wants a good gaming display. And other than that, it was just shout outs to everyone I saw over the weekend. I'll be seeing a lot of them this weekend at Final Round. Also, the Japanese players will be in attendance there, so it'll be interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, Reinhardt's going to be there too.
Right.
All right.
Who's up next, Hamad or
Mr.
Curtis?
Hamad.
Okay, yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out to my Texas family and my Kuwait family. You guys have supported me since day one, and to be honest, I've never thought it was about me. I thought about the bigger picture, and I thought about every single one of you. You guys make me who I am today, and hopefully I can repay that. As for what happened last weekend, I want to thank Twitch and Good Game for the event at South by Southwest, especially the player manager Antonio Javier for doing everything he could and he believing in me and selecting me on the roster. And he told me he believed in me, and I thought that was something amazing. And to all the players I met there and all the friends I have, thank you so much. As for a person in particular, I want to thank Adil. People don't give this man a lot of credit for what he does because they don't see him a lot. But actually, Adil is one of the best people that I know. For me, he's like my brother, and I think that the things he does for the community via his website, and on top of that, if you ever met him, you'll know what a great person he is. So I think I'll leave it at that.
Thanks, Hamad.
such heartfelt shout outs here. I feel it. Mr. Million.
Yes. First I want to give a shout out to my Philly FGC because they've been a huge inspiration to me lately, as well as the East Coast FGC and the whole FGC as a whole. But I also want to give shout outs to the people who really took a chance on me. They didn't really know much about me. They didn't know who I was, but they decided to give me, that opportunity, chance, and they've supported me from day one. For example, Sherry Jennix, Ultra David, they are two examples, a CD Junior, all examples of people who in the very beginning, I would just tag them in something and they would always retweet it for me and always show support to what I was doing, and that meant a lot to me, having that support. As it went on, Alex Valle, Carolyn of Showdown Esports, but she was the head of Macro Micro Gaming before it dispersed. But and everybody else, Katie, you, for this opportunity and for being an inspiration, doing what you do, Flatastic, Hamad, Curtis, Adil. Really, at the end of the day, it's all of you that inspire me to continue to do what I'm doing. And for that, I'm, eternally grateful. And to my friends and family for putting up with me, because, man, I have made a lot of sacrifices in the past year, especially in the past couple months. And I also want to give a shout out to Kaidi Beely, because he has also spent a lot of time helping me and giving advice, and that is something that I appreciate as well, more than people could ever realize. So I appreciate you all, and I love you all. And
this girl is giving the spiel like she
really
won a
nice.
Grammy. I am tearing up. Holy shit, guys.
That's too nice.
And you're doing a great job,
Thank you. I
So
appreciate
keep
that.
it up. Keep up the good work and being, real and being real about it. That's the key.
I'm
Definitely.
literally on the verge of tears.
You're not.
Oh god, that was beautiful. All right, Mr.
I just want to say, shout out to DB Joseph, because I think he feels really lonely in the chat and he really wants a shout out. So I'm gonna shout him out. Dude, our match at Final Round 3 years ago was really, really amazing. I still remember it to this day.
Shout outs to DB Joseph. Come back to fighting games, man. Mr. Dynamic Custom Beadwork himself, Mr. Curtis. How are you, man? Come on, you got something for me. You got something for me.
I'm good. I'm good. First, I gotta say Philly is free because I'm a dude. That's just how I am.
You just
See, this is why I love
Philly?
I just gotta keep it real. Philly can't defend home turf because Coach Steve and Flux and Unknown was there. They just took all of Philly's money this past weekend. Hey.
So you're gonna hear and diss Philly, yet Philly beat Coach Steve.
You're my girl and all. You're my girl and all, but at your tournament, Berserk, Flux and Craymore won your money, right?
They did.
Mm-hmm.
They
All right.
kept-
What is free?
Mhm.
Craymore came in there and put hands on everybody in Ultra, and Flux came in there and put people in Marvel.
Look,
So-
Curtis. Let me stop you right there, buddy. Right there. First of all, I should have had you gone first because when you were after Emily, she just gave this heartfelt,
The nicest,
the nicest, most like just emotional, passionate,
Curtis.
and then Curtis
Y'all
was like,
know who I am. Keep it 100%.
Curtis is just like,
Ain't no games here.
man.
Let's get back to the nice shout outs and the
No. This is great. I love this type of just inverse polarity that's going on here.
Everyone knows it's all love, it is what it is. But come holler at me at Final Round. Got the booth open. Got the lovely Ghost Rider riding the bikes, right? Got that jumping.
That's nice.
What else I got here? I got the Cody with the Hurricane. Y'all ain't seen that before. I'm just plugging myself. I got Captain Falcon doing Falcon Punch. I'm gonna hold this up. Favorite Dudley doing the machine gun blows.
Oh shit.
And then I got for you Hakan players, you gotta oil up,
Oh.
And what else I got here? Oh, for my man Hamad. I didn't do the flame Tatsu for you, but I got this little pose for you. So send your man a deal, holler at me. I got that for you. Put that on the side.
I told you I got you.
What else I gotta say? I got shout out my people at Xanadu. Hit them up. We got the tournament on the 28th. New York Invasion coming through. Team Pie, some House of Crack or House of Chaos, whatever you want to label them as. They coming through. It's about probably I think $250 pot bonus in Guilty Gear, $300 plus in Ultra, and $300 plus in Marvel pot bonuses we doing on the 28th. Twitch streamed by my man Air Juggle. So I'm gonna post that out. You gotta watch that. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat right now. I have no chill. That's just how I am. I keep it 100%. Look, I'm looking at the Twitch channel, but yeah, come holler at your boy. I'll be at Final Round. I gotta shout out my man Eric, Big E for what he does for the Philly community and East Coast in general. And I gotta shout out Larry because Final Round that's been the joint for the last 18 years, and I'm so looking forward to this tournament more so than any other tournament right now because Final Round is the place to be. The after hours spot in Spondovitz. If you like seafood, that's gonna be jumping.
Man, if they have that 2-hour wait again, I don't know about that.
Hey, it's worth the 2-hour wait though.
Oh Lord.
I'm not even gonna front because that's the hangout spot for the FGC, and you got the pit boss that delivers if you're in the barbecue and stuff. Got to get that peach cobbler. Shout out to DBJ. Never met you before, but you seem real chill. So I'm gonna give you a shout out. I want to see you versus Hamad, even though I think Hamad's probably gonna put hands on you, but it is what it is.
Oh man,
All
I
these shots
gotta stop. I gotta stop, man. We gotta cut this. Katie, please let us go off on a good note. Please.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Set
yeah.
up free.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming on the show. It was very educational. Emily, we learned more about your background and everything and what you do and, how you have this great interest in the FGC and all your interviews and everything. Adil and Hamad, with all of your experiences with this tournament just this last weekend. And Hamad, of course, doing a great job playing in it. Good stuff. And especially, that ice cream offer. You can't just glide over something like that. You got to give a shout out
I'm
to
gonna
the
hold you
ice
to that.
cream.
I'm gonna hold you to that, man.
Oh, I'm definitely
I
holding
know,
this is-
man.
You know this is going up on YouTube,
Just make
right?
sure you got the right person.
Oh, that's fine.
Curtis, with
I'ma
all
find
these
you.
awesome action perler beats coming out now, I mean, they're awesome. Oh,
That's-
hey, look at that.
The Jason Voorhees
Yeah,
for
it
MK.
is. It's
Look, man,
Jason.
Friday the 13th is already passed, bro.
Hey, bro, it's
I
always
need you.
Friday the 13th around here, though. Bro.
Curtis, I'm coming for that Akuma, man.
Oh, I
Hey,
got
did
you,
you see
man.
that one
You
that
let me know
lights
what you
up?
need, bro.
His back lights up? A deal.
I am.
What?
Did you see that Akuma where his back lights up?
Yeah, I think I saw it
Curtis
at.
sold it though, but yeah. he
Yeah,
can
I
make
sold
another
it.
one.
I gotta hit up my man Gummo, even though he's gonna be swamped with PS4 mods, but
Mods,
we're gonna
yeah.
have some new LEDs coming out. So, bunch of stuff we doing. Bunch of
Alright.
stuff.
All right, guys. So we're gonna be heading out of here in just a bit, but want to be since a lot of you guys were asking in the chat, how can I give some of those perler and beadworks and all that stuff? You can follow my man Curtis at Dynamic Custom Beadworks. We got this little flyer up for you, 10% off your entire purchase with the coupon code METERBURN. Be sure to follow DCB at Dynamic Custom Beadwork on Twitter, or follow their Facebook page at Dynamic Beadwork. Ask about their custom sprites. They are very reasonable people. And about the new LED sprites, they are a bit on hold at the moment, as he just said, but once Gummo gets back on the grind, we will have these jury eyeballs and Akuma heaven symbols right
Scorpion, yeah.
at your door. And we got that scorpion right there. Come here! Yeah, definitely.
Get over here.
Hey, Militant, I see you in the chat. Is that answering your question? I see you. As soon as they put it back, I'm gonna have the scorpion up for you, bro. Just hit me up if you need it.
Alright, guys, and we're definitely going to be having the next session of Meter Burn Tuesday, November, wow, Tuesday, April 31st at 9 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to follow the Blacktastic, aka me, and Cujo Cade on Twitter, and also be sure to follow the Meter Burn TV Twitter at Meter Burn TV. For info on whether we're going to change up our schedule or have a sneak preview on the guests that we may have the next session.
Yeah, we can try. I can try to see if we can do something after final round. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll
I want to post final round, and anybody who wants to get in on this. You know what? I'm going to make it an open forum. So anybody who's been at final round or going to be at final round wants to talk about their experience and their saltiness or what happens behind the scenes, be sure to contact me at The Blacktastic on Twitter. Drop me a line, and we'll see if we can't get you up here to share your experience with the world. So,
Yeah.
as for Mr. Forwood, Mr. Hamad, Mr. Dynamic Custom Beadwork, Jamilian, and Katie Cujo, this is The Blacktastic, and we're going to be signing off right now. So take care and God bless.
Bye.
See
Bye.
everyone.